All right, good rising, great awakenings. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Tachia Ahmet, aka Arit, and welcome to Good Rising TV's presentation of Neterian devotion on Thursdays. On Thursdays, we usually have a discussion about the Neters, the gods and goddesses, cosmic forces of nature, and then we have a session of musical devotion and meditation. And if you're moved by these presentations, we would so appreciate a donation to Asmataji Temple at Amet El Ma'at. Right. So we're just going to start with the opening chant that we usually have at the beginning of these presentations. It's a song called Anpu, Opener of the Way. You can find it on Spotify and YouTube. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Remove obstacles to my success in my spiritual practice. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Listen, these souls through the narrow pathways to know the difference between real and unreal. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Measure between heaven and hell. Days black as night, golden as the day. Deeply watchful by night as by day. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. May Anpu make my ties burn, so that I may stand upon them. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. I've washed myself in the waters where Anpu washed himself, where he was the officer of embalmer and bandager. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. My lips are the lips of Anpu. 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 A tap. Well, thank you so much for being here, Goddess Awaken. Good rising and great awakenings, gods and goddesses awakening. Thank you so much for showing your support. Alrighty then. So as I put in the title today, we're going to be focusing on the goddess Ma'at. And I start with readings from the Chatal Neter Manual for Devotion because it's got lots of insight. The first part of the program is about having a Neterian practice, different aspects or experiences that I've had, or some other viewers chime in with their experiences. So today we are on page 20, and this is this booklet is put out by Sema Institute, Temple of Chatal Neter, by Dr. Mwada Ashby at EgyptianYoga.com. This is my spiritual preceptor for Kemetic wisdom. I studied with them for about 12 years and started writing devotional music. And now I'm here at Asmataji Temple, where the focus is on music. But the music is always about the wisdom teachings. So it goes hand in hand. All right, so this is the chapter on Hekau, Sacred Words of Power. The following outline for the frequency of possible recitations is outline. We have included two types of words of power: short syllables, medium length containing 2 to 3, and average containing 6 to 8. They are presented as guidelines for practice of Hekau mantra repetition practice. And by the way, reciting the affirmations or the mantras or the Hekau, the sacred words of power, is a tool of manifesting. And was it yesterday and the day before, I had the realization that even though I am a good manifester, I have had experience with manifesting things, I had to fine tune it a little bit because I was trying to manifest the things. And I was thinking something's wrong with me because things are taking longer than I thought they would, or I see other people manifesting, which you shouldn't compare yourself. So I was trying not to compare myself. But I realized my mistake is that I was trying to manifest rather than allowing the manifestations to move through me. So I have a whole different perspective now. And when we say affirmations for manifesting, it's so that we can align with the manifestation. We can raise our frequency so that we are open to receive the manifestation rather than, oh, I didn't chant enough. I didn't chant 1,000 times. I only chanted 100 times. Things like that. Those are ego thoughts. So that's my new direction. Generally, when the words of power are used over a sustained period of time, the benefits or psychic powers arise. The most important psychic powers you can attain to facilitate your spiritual program are peace, serenity of mind, and concentration of the mental vibrations. Concentration opens the door to transcendental awareness and spiritual realization. Various estimates are given as to where you may expect to feel results. These vary from 500,000 repetitions or even 1,200,000 repetitions or more. 500,000. Okay, so last week we talked about how you would keep track of your hekau. So I think Dr. Ashby has a chart in the back, that tells you like approximately how many minutes you're chanting. If you're chanting, how many times you're chanting. If you chant a certain amount of time. And I'm one that prefers the Amala beads, where there's 108 beads, or you could get an app on your phone, a counter. I'm not going to take down that, but those are how you could keep track of 500,000 or 5 million chants. The number should not be your focus. Sustained practice, understanding the teachings about the self, and practicing of the virtues and self-control in an integral, balanced fashion are the most important factors determining your eventual success. Yeah, I tend to just chant with the music, and I don't keep track of how many times I've chanted or how long I've chanted. So I probably have chanted some chants a million times by now, maybe not all in one sitting though. While Om is most commonly known as a Sanskrit mantra, word of power from India, it also appears in the ancient Kemetic texts and is closely related to the Kemetic Amun. More importantly, it has the same meaning as Amun and is therefore completely compatible with the energy pattern of the entire group. According to the Egyptian Laden Papyrus, the name of the hidden god referring to Amun may be pronounced as Om or Am. And side note, of course, Amun is also known as Amen or Amin. Om and Am. We have that too. Om is a powerful sound. It represents the primordial sound of creation. Thus, it appears in ancient Kemet as Om, in modern day India as Om, and in Christianity as Amen, being derived from Amun. Om may also be used for engendering mental calm prior to beginning recitation of a longer set of words of power, or it may be used alone as described above. One Indian tantric scripture, Tattva Prakash, states that Om, or AUM, can be used to achieve the mental state free of physical identification and can bring union with Brahman, the absolute transcendental supreme being, the divine. If it is repeated 300,000 times, chant Om 300,000 times. Amazing. Good rising, great awakenings, positive vibes. Thank you so much for your presence today and your support of this live stream. I wonder how long it would take to chant Om 300,000 times in one sitting. Good rising, great awakenings. I don't know. I've meditated for an hour at a time, but I haven't. I used to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo for an hour a day or 2 hours a day, but I haven't done anything like that in a long time. It's something to consider. 300,000. if it is repeated 300,000 times. In this sense, mantras such as Om, Soham, Sivoham, Aham, Brahman, Brahamsi are called moksha mantras, or mantras which lead to union with the absolute self. Their shortness promotes greater concentration and force towards the primordial level of consciousness. I could do that Om Amun Rapata, do that like 1,000 times. I'm going to try that. There is one more important divine name, which is common to both Indian as well as ancient Kemetic mystical philosophy. The Sanskrit mantra Hari Om is composed of Om preceded by the word Hari. In Hinduism, I almost said Hindustan because I learned that it used to be called Hindustan and then it was changed to India. In Hinduism, the Hari means he who is tawny. The definition of tawny is a light golden brown. I've heard that term used to describe Moors, tawny Moors, but I didn't realize this definition of tawny, a light golden brown, kind of like copper, right? Copper colored. That's what they described the Aboriginal Americans as copper colored. This is a reference to the dark-colored skin of Vishnu and Krishna. Vishnu is usually depicted with a deep blue and Krishna is depicted with a deep blue or black. Vishnu's deep blue or black, who symbolizing infinity and transcendence. Hari is one of Krishna's or Vishnu's many divine names. It also means hail, as in hail to the Great One, or it may be used as the Great One. In the ancient Kemetic magical texts used to promote spiritual development, words of power, Heka mantras, the word Hari also appears as one of the divine names. I didn't know that. Thus, the Heka mantra Hari Om was also known and used in ancient Kemet and constitutes a most powerful formula for mystical spiritual practice. The spelling may be Hari, Haari, or Hare. Okay, just one more paragraph and we're done with this whole section. Thank you for listening. Simply choose a Hekau which you feel comfortable with and sit quietly to recite it continuously for a set amount of time. Allow it to gradually become part of your free time when you are not concentrating on anything specific or when you are being distracted by worldly thoughts. This will serve to counteract the worldly or subconscious vibrations that may emerge from your own unconscious mind. When you feel anger or other negative qualities, recite the Hekau and visualize its energy and the deity associated with it, destroying the negativity within you. For example, you may choose Amun Ra Pata. When you repeat this Hekau, you are automatically including the entire system of all gods and goddesses. Amun Ra Pata is known as Nebuchadnezzar, the all-encompassing divinity. You may begin by uttering it aloud. When you become more advanced in controlling your mind, you may begin to use shorter words. For example, simply utter Amun, 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 always striving to get to the source of the sound. Eventually, you will utter these silently, and this practice will carry your consciousness to the source of the sound itself, where the very mental instruction to utter is given. Hekau are also related to the spiritual energy centers of the subtle body, the Uraeus, Kundalini, or the Aritus, where the second energy flows. Alrighty, so let's try some chants together now. We can do call and response. We usually just do 4 times. Let's see if we can do 3 minutes. We're going to have the devotion later on, so let's try the chant for MAAT. I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes. So I'm going to type it in here on YouTube. Om Om Ma'ati Ma'keru. I can't type it in there, but you can just chant along with me. It's Om, like I said, Om Ma'ati, Maati, Ma'akeru. The one divine the one divine manifesting as the dual goddesses of truth of above and below, heaven and earth, Aset and Nebuchadnezzar, assist us in attaining spiritual enlightenment. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. Oh, I didn't start it. There we go. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. 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 Now I'm going to slow it down and we'll just recite together. Om Ma'ati Ma'akeru. 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 Okay. So for those of you that are still on this call, have you had any experiences with MAAT? Are you a follower of MAAT? Do you practice MAAT or stand for MAAT or live with MAAT? After we're done with our little discussion, we'll have some devotional music for MAAT. So Okay, so if you have any experiences with MAAT, I'd love to read about them. I have had a lot of experience with MAAT. Let's see, one of the experiences I've had, Good Rising, Great Awakening. Yes, I am that I am states, I am familiar, but the principles are definitely ones to live by. Yes, indeed, they really are. I will share my little experience, and then we'll go over we'll go over the principles. During the devotion, we'll read the 42 laws of Ma'at. So my experience with Ma'at is, um, I was thinking that, Ma'at is like a judgment, like good or bad, or, in alignment with Ma'at or out of alignment with Ma'at. I had like a cut and dry experience. And I learned from my teacher, Dr. Ashby, and a temple member, Basu Aku, excuse me. No, it is Bastu Aku, that Ma'at is a scale. It's a scale. You know how she has her wings outstretched, the feathers, the wings of Ma'at. And Ma'at is, and you have degrees of Ma'at. You can be Ma'at or on Ma'at, and all of the degrees in between. So that's one thing that I learned about Ma'at. It's that Ma'at is the scale, and it's up to you if you're going to be Ma'at or on Ma'at. It's not really about judgment of good or bad, or there is a thing of right and wrong, but it's more of Ma'at and on Ma'at. On Ma'at means less Ma'at or lack of Ma'at. It's not bad. It's less Ma'at. And the goal is to be more Ma'at. And then, Dua ask. Great to be here. Great to see you here. We're just talking a little bit about Ma'at. And my experience with Ma'at is it's not so much of a judgment, but it's a degree of Ma'at. You can have total Ma'at and you can have on Ma'at, which is lack of Ma'at. But it's always Ma'at. I was of the impression you have Ma'at and then you don't have Ma'at, but it's always Ma'at. So that was a big light bulb that went off for me back in the day. And then the other one is, let's see. Well, I don't want to. The scales of Ma'at. Let's see if I can. I should have had it. I could have had it up on the imagery, but I didn't get to that. So I can find it quickly. Sure, there's got to be an image of it somewhere. So this one. Well, I'm sure you've seen images of the scale of Ma'at. I can't believe I don't have one already pulled up. It would take me a while to find it. But you've seen the hall of Ma'at, the scale, where your heart is weighed against a feather of Ma'at. Your heart is represented by a little vessel, a container, and the hieroglyph for the heart is, I have one actually. Yeah, feathers in it. But the representation of the heart is a vessel that looks like this. It's the ob. And so when your body dies, you want your heart to be as light as the feather of Ma'at, which is weighed against your heart. So that's something I strive to keep with me, is to keep my heart as light as a feather. And sometimes it's not. And it's my fault when it happens. It's nobody else's business or fault or whatever. Okay, so we're having the study time. So I was going to read a little bit from, I forgot to reverse the camera on TikTok. That's how people tuning in. So this is Dr. Ashby's book, From the Purdon Haru, on teachings of MAAT. But before we read from the Purdah, I have another chant that we offer. It's actually a shortened version of the one you're supposed to offer when you're reading on the Purdah. But at this temple, we have this one, and it will be part of the devotion. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kapara Sarong. 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 Okay, so I usually just randomly choose a page from the books. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm not that organized yet. So just pick one. MAAT teaching number 11, the preamble of the 42 precepts of MAAT. The reason for entering the hall of MAAT and offering MAAT. Bringing MAAT means practice of laws which are cosmic forces, which are pacified or fulfilled when practiced and brought to the divine, to God. So I'm just going to read the Neterian and then Dr. Ashby's translation. And he has the trilineal translation with the actual hieroglyphs, then the phonetic pronunciation, then the Budge translation, and then Dr. Ashby's translation. Dr. Ashby's translation is in the direction of leading people to MAAT. It's not just to recite the words or know the history or whatever else it is used for, or for spells. It's strictly to lead you to MAAT. To MAAT and to enlightenment. Jetu keft spur usek ten ent maati baka ku neb ari nf ma neter neb haru anatej. Neter a neb maat ia ina kerke neb a am kua maa a neferu ke iu a rek ke tu rek kua ren en neter himu senu uniu hina ke im usket ten ent maat anku im zatu jetu zamiu im zenef zenu. Heru pui en heseb ked mutu imba uneferu mak rekti merti f int matu ren ke maakua ia kua ker ke ant ina in ke maatu. Translation. These words are to be used when coming to the hall of the double truth. What will happen here is an unscrambling and unraveling, divorcing, parting, untying, extrication, in terms of all inequities from being related to any wrong feeling or thinking that produces immoralities, vices, crimes, or evils. To you, O great divine self, O Lord of righteousness, order, truth, I have come to you, my Lord. I brought myself so that I may behold your beauties, your splendors, your loveliness, and your exquisiteness. Also, I came to you because I know the name of the divine self that manifests in the form of 42 gods and goddesses that preside over each of the 42 precepts of MAAT, and who exist with you in their hall of MAAT, which is the very essence of righteousness, order, and truth. They live in the hall of Ma'ati and they function as punishers of those who are unrighteous. They are the ones who live on their blood on the day, the one of calculating the reproduction of the personality that occurs when the individual is in front of Asar, the Lord of beautiful existences. Observe the two goddesses of righteousness, orderliness, and truthfulness. Aset and Nebenhet is thy name. Observe me. I came to be in your presence. I bring to you righteousness, orderliness, and truthfulness. Okay. Well, that was a really powerful reading. I'm all tingly. Here's a little summary of the entire chapter. A new sight into the idea of bringing it. It certainly is. It certainly is. The 42 gods, one for each of the laws of Ma'at. Following the precepts is the declaration of innocence and purity. Another thing about the 42 laws, what I've learned is back in the day, you know how we have now when a person's body dies, there's a will to be read to determine where all your belongings go. Back in the day, Aku Jasanev, good rising, Atu Makanda. Back in the day, each one of us would have our 42 precepts. You would hire a scribe to write them on the papyrus for you, and it would be placed with you in your tomb, or however, or if your ashes, it would be read at your memorial. But it's the precepts that you take with you into the next realm, I guess, is what you would say. And it's what you live by. So you may have seen 42 laws of Ma'at written this way, or you may have seen 42 laws of Ma'at written this way. That's because different scribes wrote them for different people. And so Dr. Ashby he shared with us his 42 laws. He has a book about them. And I recorded a song on SoundCloud. It's not officially released, about 42 laws of Ma'at from a poster. It's a nice poster. And I still have several copies if you're interested in one. They're no longer available. But these were this author's 42 laws of Ma'at. That's why you see different versions. So that's something you could work on, or we could all work on. I've been collecting the passages that I'd like to be recited at my passing from the Purdah Meru. You can recite them while the person is on their journey to the netherworld, and then at the memorial or funeral. And then, I don't know what happens to them after that. I guess you could pass them on to your children so they can have them recited. Okay, and therefore the precepts are gods and goddesses, cosmic forces that purify the personality and make one worthy to see the beauties of the divine. Worthy to pass the test and the judgment is the evaluation of the attainment or lack of attainment of virtue. Like we were talking earlier, that it's not a judge, this is Ma'at and this is not Ma'at. This is right, good, or this is bad. It's the scale of Ma'at. It is all Ma'at. And you're either 100% Ma'at or you're 100% on Ma'at, which is the lack of Ma'at. So even if it's on Ma'at, it's still Ma'at. And that was something that was really, I even made a video about it on YouTube. You'll find it, the scale of Ma'at. I share my experience. So it's like it's pure or it's not pure. That's one of the principles of the Kabbalion. It's the opposites. It's alike in nature but different in degree. Like water is always water, but you can have cold water or hot water. That's the temperature. Or you could have physical water or evaporated water. It's still water. Virtue of purity of heart, understanding of and harmony with the order of the universe that confers self-knowledge, spiritual enlightenment. So one is the judge of oneself. This is being an architect of destiny and creator of one's own fate. Yeah. For those of you that just tuning in earlier, I was sharing how I had a realization that the reason why my manifestations aren't manifesting the way I want them to, like my ego, it's like, why aren't they? It's because I was focused on how I have to manifest, or I'm the manifester. And the reality is that the divine is manifesting through me. And that's my new strategy for the next cycle, the new year, whatever. Serious culmination. It's a serious year. It's not 2025. What is it? 38,790 something. I don't know what it is. I need to have that information. Okay. Original note for above. Being faultless means perfection, but not in action, but in purity of heart. Aha! Which comes from practice of 42 precepts that are actually cosmic forces, Neterian, and applying the precepts successfully and presenting as offering proves understanding that it is knowing the name of each deity that presides over each precept. Therefore, understanding and practicing the precept is knowing the cosmic force, the Neterian behind it, of which it is composed. Oh, here's the scale. I knew I got a picture. That's the scale of MAAT. So you have the scale, and you have Anpu, the opener of the way, and Jehuti there, and you have Amit, who's there to devour the heart if your heart is heavier than the feather. And then over here we have Ani and the spouse of Ani. And then these are the 9 Paltina Taru. And then I've seen one, they tell you what it is here. I've seen one where they have the 42 gods and goddesses for each precept. So those are the judges of the contents of the heart. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a wonderful practice. I used to, when I first started this practice, I was reciting, I have beautiful skin. Oh, well, thank you, Dua. I drink lots of water, and I use my my tea tree medicinal salves on my skin, but I can't promote it here. Ucha, greetings. Trying to listen in the background, and it's raining. Oh, this is Hatshepsut. Do you feel specific connection to Amet? To MAAT? Oh, definitely. Yes, I definitely have a strong connection to MAAT. My birth name, which I translated to Hebrew when I was on the Hebrew tradition, means rise again truth. And so rise again refers to Sirius, rising again, which is Aset. And truth, of course, is Ma'at. And here's Constance, good rising, great awakening. So even without knowing my connection, I always had a connection to Sirius and Ma'at. And then the name of the temple here, Asmataji Temple, is Aset and Ma'at, or Ma'ati, and also Ma'ataji. And I feel that my journey is about restoring Ma'at to the world by music and sound. So that's part of my purpose, is helping to contribute to Ma'at. And then through some of the adversity that I've been through, I'm in a position where I chose to speak out against injustice. And it's hard for me not to. When I hear ignorance being spoken, it's hard for me to not say something. It's not a really good habit. Amit, the divine creature of the hearts, are fed. No, that's Amit, Ammit. No, it's different. Amit is truth in Hebrew. No, I don't feel a connection to Amit, Ammit. My Kemetic name is Arit, Arit, which is the Energy centers, what's known as the chakras. It means action. It means offering. But no, I don't feel a connection to Amit. Although sometimes when I'm, like I said, I am in the environment of ignorance of the divine, I suppose I lash out. And that's not one of my best habits. I need to be more kind. I found the Blue Lotus years ago looking up the word Amet. Amet Atem. Amet Alem, years of the world. Yeah, I learned it because my middle name, my birth name is Stacy Allison. And I looked it up what that means in Greek. Because I even as a child I didn't like having a Greek name. And so I looked it up and it means rise again truth. And because at the time I didn't really like to be called Stacy, it made me go like this. And I was a reggae singer, and I was like, I can't just give Stacy. It just doesn't resonate with me. And so this wise man was visiting us. He was traveling, passing through, and he says, "Why don't you just find out how to say it in a language that resonates with you?" So I bought a Hebrew baby name book and reversed, looked it up, and it's Tehia Amet. But there's a Cherokee warrior named Tachi, so it's Techia Amet. And then when I got into the Kemetic path, I requested a Kemetic name. I went through a few years where I wanted to change my name again because when I came out about my adversity, the SA, anytime you Googled my name to look up my music, this is before I became a priestess, whatever, the other guy's name would come up. And it was very discouraging and depressing. And I felt like I was always starting over because it means rise again, rebirth, renewal. And I was tired of starting over with everything because it was getting old. And so two wise teachers, Dr. Ashby and also, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. You have an amazing day too. A day of Ma'at. They said maybe I need to go by my middle name, which was Ahmet. And I tried that for a while, but that didn't really feel authentic for some reason. And so then I changed it. Changed all my social media platforms to Arit Neteres Maati. And then I signed up with this business coach. And he said, but I was 25 years as a reggae singer. I have too much brand invested in that name. And besides the publicity from the adversity, atrocity. So he talked me into keeping it to Chia Ahmed. But I also list Arit sometimes. I know you didn't ask for all the information, but that's about my name. It comes from Hebrew. It is similar, but thank you for your question. Okay. So it was a little bit of reading from the teachings of Ma'at. And there's a wonderful book he has called The Wisdom of Ma'at, which really breaks down how to live by Ma'at. This one has scriptures from the Purdy Maru. I have that one, but it's an ebook, and I didn't make time to set it up to have it available for the presentation, but this one is good. All right, so now I'm going to turn the camera around so it's facing the altar, and then we'll have some devotional music and offerings for Goddess Ma'at. Oh my goodness. Huh. I don't know. Did it the light? Okay, I found another lighter, but this one's, one that doesn't always work. I know I brought one over here. Right. I have altars all over the place. Okay. Oh, there's the lighter next to the candle. And this from there. This in the way. Not the best lighting, but I get the point. That's better there. All right. I fit over here. Should have done this earlier. Some water. That's a little behind the scenes there. Okay. First, we're going to cover the altar. Really the divine, hidden divinity. Got a candle. I need some candles. Get some candles. Finally. Lighting up the candle, which is Yaku, the divine light within that is to be awakened. Lighting up the incense, representing the fragrance of the personality, which rises up, communes with the divine, attracts and communes with the divine. Elevation, which is the one pointed flow of the mind towards the divine. My food offering. Neterian, Neterian, Antu Apuat Netaja Se Pekeru Kakape, Sineter Adi Makeru, Otabdi Neterian, Antu Aquatna Tadise Pekeru Kakape, Neterari Makeru, Otebi Nesunetera, Antu Aquatna Tadise Pekeru Kakape, Neterari Makeru, Otebi Nesunetera, Antu Aquatna Tadise Pekeru Kakape, Neterari Makeru. Translation. Offering is given to the Supreme Divinity and to Anpu, prepare the traveler, and What, opener of the ways, Lord of the sacred land. This spoken offering is 1,000 beads complete malice and 1,000 beads complete females. This causes the divine to make one true of speech and enlighten female. We'll start with the four great truths of Chautauqua Netter. I don't know if you want to see me, but I'm here. I can see the altar. Know how to fit is spoken. Just going to move this over. And this. There we go. Alright, so the next song I want to offer is actually three songs coming together. Three songs coming together. And I normally have my other harp. I don't have that instrument, so I don't know how the songs are going to sound, but I have to start. Oh, the translation, sorry. Those are the four great truths of Chautauqua Nectar. Ponder Ua Never and Nectar. The nectar of the Supreme Being is one and alone, and is never manifesting everywhere and in all things in the form of gods and goddesses or cosmic forces of nature. Never means all-encompassing divinity, the all-inclusive, all-embracing spirit which pervades all, and who is the ultimate essence of all. This first truth unifies all the expressions of Kemetu and Britain. MAAT, Sayuset, say Kemen. Lack of righteousness brings fetters to the personality, and these fetters lead to ignorance of the divine. When a person acts in ways that contradict the natural order of nature, negative qualities of the mind will develop within that person's personality. These are the afflictions of Set. Set is the nature of egoism and selfishness. The afflictions of Set include anger, hatred, greed, lust, jealousy, envy, gluttony, dishonesty, hypocrisy, etc. So to be free from the fetters of Set, one must be free from the afflictions of Set. Number 3. Say Washu, say Yaku, and Sai Set. Devotion to the divine leads to freedom from the fetters of Set. To be commentary, to be liberated, not food, freedom to breathe. From the afflictions of Set, one must be devoted to the divine. Being devoted to the divine means living by MAAT. MAAT is a way of life that is purifying to the heart and beneficial for society, as it promotes virtue and order. Living by Ma'at means practicing Shedi, spiritual practices, and disciplines. Washu means devotion, and the classic pose of adoring the divine is called Dua, standing or sitting with upraised hands facing outwards towards the divinity. 4. Ari Shedi Rek Aben Bakari. The practice of the Shedi disciplines leads to knowing oneself as a divine. This is called being true of speech. Doing Shedi means to study profoundly, to penetrate the mysteries, to tout, and discover the nature of the divine. There have been several practices designed by the sages of ancient Kemet to facilitate this process of self-knowledge. These are the religious Chatal traditions and the Sima Smai Tawi yogic disciplines related to them that augment the spiritual practices. All the traditions relate the teachings of the sages by means of myths related to particular gods or goddesses, cosmic forces of nature. It is understood that all of these Neterian are related like brothers and sisters, having all emanated from the same source, the same supremely divine parent, who is neither male nor female, but encompasses the totality of the two. Alright, so the next 3 songs, we have 3 songs together. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm sorry about that, TikTok. I didn't notice that. I hope you got to hear the translation. You have comments? Thank you, Hatepsu Ra. Hatu Agunda. Do it for your essence and devotion to comic culture. See you next time. You're in fact is felt priestess. Dua Atun. And I will be back on January 21st with that special presentation. Thanks for turning me on to that. Yes, January 21st. I think there's like 6 or 7 planets that are lined up, and they're not retrograde. So I'm going to do a special cosmic chimes and chanting for that occasion. All right, so it's 3 songs from Ma'at, and then we'll read the 42 precepts of Ma'at. What can I do? Put it further back. There we go. Okay. Like I said, this song was not written for the instrument, so I'll do. Yes. Okay, Anthony. And another thing to remember is I have not been making my devotion because my other instrument was stolen. And so I'm just doing my best. I haven't sang these songs in a long time, unfortunately. Dura kept doing after my getting fed. On a Tezra KTM Keparan. Kepara Keman Netaru. Kake Ubunke Kasebuke. Katiem Suten Nataru Idinek Mut Nut Adiem Idini Manu Mataka Maateka. One more time. Do I can't move and have them, I can't take that. On the test rock, ATM Kepara. Kepara, Keman, Nataru. Kake, Uben, K, Pesset, Muke. Katiem, Suten, Nataru. Idinet, Nut, Adiem, Idini. Manawimateka to Maatata. Okay, that was nice. The three songs are supposed to be together, but then you wouldn't have the translation. So I'm going to read the translation and then move on to the next one. And this is from the opening prayer A from the ancient Kemetic book of Coming Forth by Day. Adorations to Ra when he rises in the rising eastern. Homage to Ra, coming forth as Kepler. Kepler, creator of the gods and goddesses. Rising thee, shining thee, lighting up thy mother. Rising as Lord, King of the gods and goddesses. Your mother Nut does an act of worship to you with both arms. Manu, the western horizon, receives thee in peace, and Ma'at embraces thee at the double season, Korean, Dua Ma'at. So that prayer is contained in the manual. It's one that's to be recited every day in the morning at Temple of Shaitan Nectar. Temple of Asmataji, you do it whenever you can. And that's good enough. It has to be good enough. Okay. And then the next one, I'm going to read the translation first. Ma'at is the source of life. Ma'at is in everywhere you are. Rise in the morning with Ma'at. Live with Ma'at. Let every limb join with Ma'at. Let her guide your actions. Adorations to Goddess Ma'at, who is in everywhere you are. Earlier when I was offering the song and I paused, I remembered that somebody on YouTube asked me how to live by Ma'at. And I could have just invited her to this live stream. But I'm going to send her the replay. Yeah. And also, I'll talk about that. Housekeeping. Okay. And this is a song. The first one I did is a song I learned from Say by Ma, but that's an original melody. This one I learned from Say by Ma, and this is Say by Ma's melody. So do Say by Ma. And I have a little variation, of course. It's a wonderful song. Ma'atan Kuma, Ma'at Nebuten, Kahinama, On Kinama, Hasimama, Duamat Nebuten. Ma'atan Kuma, Ma'at Nebuten, Kahinama. On in a mind, see my mind, do a mind, never ten. Kuma, Neterian. MAAT Neterian. Kahinama, Akinama, Hasimama, Duamat Nebuten, Duamat Nebuten, Duamat Nebuten, Duamat Nebuten. Okay, now the next one. Keep your heart as light as a feather. Duamat. Keep your heart as light as a feather. Duamat. To know the difference between what's real and unreal. Duamat. To know the difference between what's real and unreal. Duamat. Light as a feather. Duamat. Real and unreal. Duamat. Makes my heart as light as a feather. Nukuma. Makes my heart as light as a feather. Nukuma. I know the difference between what's real and unreal. Nukuanku. I know the difference between what's real and unreal. Nukuanku. Nukuma. Nukuanku. Nukuma. Nukuanku. Nukuma. Nukuanku. Duamat. Duaku. Duaku. Let's have. Yes, I have recorded these songs, and I tell you they will be released this coming year, 2025. I was waiting for someone to help me do it, to edit it and master it and mix it and everything. And my spirit said, you know what, just do it yourself. Yeah. So, okay. Now we're going to, I'm going to read through the 42 laws of MAAT. And as I stated before, I do have a song However, it's not ready to share with you today. So maybe the next time we have a MAAT day, I will be ready. Let's see, we've got some. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm just going to go right into it. And then we'll have another song, and then we'll have meditation. There's so many versions. Which one is the big one? Some have bigger letters than others, but I don't have the one with big letters. I need my glasses. Oh, this one. These are bigger. Okay. Yay. I don't need my glasses with these. Stop one thing. Looks like two versions. Not in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have two versions here. You know what? This is 20. Okay, this is 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, they're in order. Oh my gosh. I don't know. 24, 25, 26, 27. Jesus. Because you can see I have not done this in a while. Okay, 30, 31, 32, 36, 37, 38. So what is this? 16. I apologize. I didn't have this together. I don't know where this page goes. I don't have a clue. 26, 27, 28. Why would you do this to me? Okay, yeah, I don't know where this one goes. It's not. Okay. All right, well, I'm just going to do my best. And if it's duplicate, it's duplicate. I'll just read it at the end just to make sure I have them all. I don't know where it goes. And like I said, I do have a song, but it's not ready to present. So I'm just going to chant them. So like he was saying before, and this is something I didn't know, that each one of the precepts has a cosmic force associated with it. So once I get the list of the names of the cosmic forces, then we can just recite the names of the cosmic forces and not have to recite the whole thing. If you're interested in saving time, I am. I've gotten my practice down to where I give like 15 minutes of chanting, 15 minutes devotion, 15 minutes of study, 15 minutes of meditation, study, devotion, chanting, meditation. I think that's it. Because I can't contribute, I can't do an hour for everything. So, yeah. But I've been able to when I'm able to maintain that, I'm able to maintain the frequency. If I don't maintain that, then there's going to be problems. Okay. So I'm going to read that the Neter, and then we'll go back through with the translation. And I'm one to sing, but I don't. I'm just gonna sing a melody that comes out. It's not the actual melody. An aria svetu, an awa, an tawa, an zeman aret sepsen, an zeman aret sepsen, an hedge devu, an keptua, an tau ketumeter. Anjet agorgu geru. Anehema animetu ankenua. Aneka eneka. Antajenma. An aba. Antea. An ari hunitia. Aneka henta. Andada, an Arya Heru, Antawa, Anzaka Ahara Hermetuma, An Shentia, An Pera, An Kelua, An Asu Ama, An Ashau Kelua Hermetu. An Ayatia, an Ariaban, an Arya Shanti Suten, an Nehen Ahelu, an Kakerua, an Shenuanater, an Arya Saktiu, an Hesh Pasneteru. Anahem akenfu araku. Anahem kenfu mehen. Anze kwasat netu nuta. Anze man a neteri. An awa hendet. Anet meta. An shemra. Asekuna aseketu. All right, now I'm going to read the translation. And again, these are the 42 precepts of MAAT that Sabai Ma has selected for his 42 laws. And we're encouraged to write out our own 42 laws, which I have not done yet, but it's on my list of things to do. And so these are negative confessions, or things you have not done. And so when you go to the Hall of Ma'at and your heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at, then these 42 confessions that you selected, or the ones you read every day, or for however you read them, is on your heart, right? And so you'll be judged against the contents of your heart. So you might recite these every day, but did you live by them? And that's what your heart will be weighed against, the feather of Ma'at. I have not done what is wrong, not immorality, injustice, crime, wickedness, sin, or vices. I have not stolen, robbed, looted, pillaged, or raided. I have not robbed, pickpocketed, mugged, fleeced, or cheated. I have not slaughtered anyone. I have not slaughtered anyone. I'm supposed to say that one twice. I have not walked off with liberated or lifted funerary offerings. I have not wrongly divided portions and thereby hurt anyone or thing. I have not looted or ransacked any sacred or divine items, entities, or substances. I have not told lies, dishonesties, fabrications, mendacities, libels, slurs, or misrepresentations. I have not grabbed and taken away food that was not for me. I have not become angry and cursed, damned, or wished others to hell. I have not had sex relations just to have sex relations, so I do not engage in sex relations indiscriminately. I have not instigated a reason for there to be crying or laments. I have not eaten my heart with anguish, dejection, jealousy, self-recrimination, remorse, or envy. I have not invaded any place. I have not done greedy, deceitful, dishonest, fraudulent, or untrustworthy acts. I have not had sexual relations with a wife of another man or the husband of another woman. I have not overexpended my sexual energies, masturbated excessively, or acted promiscuously. I have not made anyone to be frightened, threatened, or terrorized. I have not allowed myself to be consumed with the fire of irritation, anger, fury, or rage. I have not stopped myself from listening and following to the words of wisdom, righteousness, order, and truth, as in keeping myself willfully ignorant or discounting things I find inconvenient and avoiding taking action as I should do, because ignoring these things may challenge me or cause aggravation, disrupt my lifestyle, or challenge my ignorance or worldly relations and or notions. I have not been a cursed person, ill-favored, spoken hateful, vile, or foul. I have not come forth just to make an appearance and without attainment, and thereby look as if arrogant and foolish. I have not harmed anyone by causing offense or through deceit causing calamities, damage, injury, destruction, or mischief. I have not done what is bad, evil, wicked, malevolent, malicious, immoral, or criminal. I have not cursed the king or queens who are the rightful and ethical leaders of the country, who uphold MAAT for the good of all. How many kings or queens or leaders of governments do you know that uphold MAAT? You can probably count them on one hand. I have not fouled, spoiled, contaminated, soiled, infected, polluted, or otherwise heaped corruptions upon the flowing waters, thereby disrupting life and producing disease and disrupting the natural balanced order of creation. I have not spoken with arrogance, conceit, puffed up self-importance, air of superiority, always condescending attitude. I have not cursed, ill-fated, spoken hateful, vile, or foul words about God or the divine. I have not intruded anywhere that I did not belong. I have not harmed the company of gods and goddesses, cosmic forces of nature, by defrauding them from their offerings or otherwise hurting them by cheating them or stealing from their offerings or properties. I have not grabbed and taken away from the offerings dedicated to the enlightened beings. I have not grabbed and taken away from a child a manifestation of the offerings dedicated to Haru, who is the divine child, the spirit emerging from the horizon as the newborn sun Ra and the symbol of rising spirits. I have not belittled, mocked, or denigrated the local divinity of my town. I have not killed any of the cattle that are set aside for the divine. I have not stolen, robbed, looted, pillaged, or despoiled land that can be cultivated. I have not eavesdropped on testimonies that I should not. I have not set in motion my mouth against anyone with slander, backbiting, spitefulness, badmouthing, or infighting. I have not been angry over objects, worldly things, which in the end are illusory and fleeting. I have not stimulated, agitated, whipped up, roused, or stirred up my ego such that it creates strife or turmoil in life. I have not allowed my mind to think hurriedly and develop ideas and desires without considering ethics and facts with due diligence, thereby judging things without proper consideration and thus making impetuous and erroneous fateful decisions in life. I have not been over talking more than thinking and reflecting before I speak or saying things using more words than what are necessary to be clear or without pumping up my ego, appearing capable of using complicated words that are not necessary. Dual Ma'at. So one practice to live by Ma'at is to recite these every day until they're etched on your heart. And that's why I like to write songs, because that's the easier way for me to remember them. So that song, uh, it'll be on the next Ma'at album, the first Ma'at album that I released. It's almost ready. I just wasn't ready. Okay. All right. So here's a few readings from Ma'at Ari Shetty about practicing Ma'at from Seba Ma's book, The Temple of the Soul. With the ceremonial knives, the divinity, in this case Amun, is going to dispense with those enemies that are brought forth by the royal person, in this case Ramses. So the royal person is doing work in service of Ma'at order as a divine offering. Ma'at means righteousness, justice, order, truth. In capturing and imprisoning these enemies of Kemet, which represent the unrighteous forces of life that are against the foundation of the temple, which is Ma'at, order, and truth, the royal person is doing an elevated service not only to the divine but also to themselves, what is a purifying act that legitimizes one's entry into the temple. So it's showing, I don't know if you can see the image at the bottom, like in the spiritual text, whenever they show a warrior getting ready to cut off the head of a prisoner or a captive, a lot of people say that's, Kemet was bloodthirsty. But actually, what it represents is defeating the Setian nature within us, defeating every one of those captives that you see in the hieroglyphs and the artwork represents a fetter of Set or a negative thought or something that you don't want to blossom. Oh, looks like we have a comment here on 5 minutes breathing exercises, 5 minutes teaching, 5 minutes hekao, 5 minutes meditation, 5 minutes formal sit down. Yes, that's great. That is what my goal. Sometimes the actual goal is 15 minutes each, but some days only have 5 minutes each, and some days I only have 5 minutes. And when I was doing that consistently, it was working really well for me. And then I stopped. I lost my harp and I freaked out. I was like, so I'm just now getting back into the rhythm of that practice. And it was my therapist that gave me that idea, the plan, because I was depressed because I wanted to spend an hour of meditation. I wanted to do an hour of the postures. And I wanted to do an hour of chanting. I wanted to do an hour of devotion, and I couldn't. And so I tried to just do an hour of one each day, and that wasn't maintaining the frequency. So I said, what if you just do 15 minutes of each one each day? And so that's kind of what these sessions are on Thursdays with you all. It's like that's what I do. That's how I do it. Yeah. So thank you for that comment. Okay. So they represent unrighteousness, greed, anger, jealousy, hurt, crime, lust, crime. So this is a culminating, though lower or beginner level MAAT offering at this stage of spiritual practice, where a spiritual aspirant delivers their own gross impurities to the divine for dispensation. So you could just let's say you have a habit of procrastinating, like I do sometimes, procrastinating. So you would sit before your altar of a moon and you would offer your procrastination. Or like we're in front of MAAT, maybe we have, someone didn't pay their parking tickets for 2 years and they owe all this money. So you would offer your parking ticket situation. That's what they're saying at the beginning level of your practice. You're acknowledging that you have these Setian traits, and instead of being down on yourself about it, you offer them. You offer your Setian nature. And you can study with them. They'll teach you more about it. I'm just offering this as a MAAT offering because this is my notebook for MAAT RV. Okay, this means the divine, one's own higher self, accepts these gross impurities and thereby bestows cleansing from those impurities. Thus, the aspirant is able to receive the grace of being in the presence of the divine and entry into the temple. So, even if you're not perfected and you're not able to do an hour of meditation every day and an hour of everything, you're only able to do 15 minutes or 5 minutes or even just 5 minutes a day, you are still able to enter into the temple, the sacred space, because you're offering up your fetters or your inconsistencies or, those kind of things. Continue. The aspirant does not dispatch the unrighteousness, but captures it and delivers it to the higher self for dispensation. So this is you here capturing your fetters or your dispensation, and you offering them the unrighteousness. You capture your unrighteousness and just offer it to the divine, and then the divine turns it into compost and does great things for you in your life. Thus, the ego of the aspirant is protected even from the developing. No, thus, the ego of the aspirant is protected even from developing further egoism about the process of dealing with its own negative personality traits. This is a subtle but important point that the unrighteousness of the personality is external, metaphorically, to the true self as the royal personality. So this is Seda Job, Dr. Ashby's spiritual partner. She also has classes where she breaks down Seva Ma's teachings in a way that we understand. We don't have to be Seva Ma at Seva Ma's level to understand his teachings. If you ever have the opportunity, please go to EgyptianYoga.com and attend their devotional services and classes. It really changed my life. Okay? And so there's a few more songs from MAAT. We'll have a meditation. Let's see, do I have those lyrics here? I've already memorized it. I don't know if I have them here. Let me see. I'll try this next time. Maybe this one next time. I'm going to take a second and see if I can find the lyrics because I would like to offer this song. Maybe it's in here. It's from the Wisdom of Sage and Minimal Time. I sing it all the time for the temple. Okay, just give me 2 minutes because I just put all the lyrics in one place in my music room, so they're not here right now. So just give me 1 second because I believe I know where it is. Oh, look, another comment. Like Abraham and Isaac. I don't know Abraham and Isaac. What do you mean? What are you referring to by like Abraham and Isaac? I'm gonna go get the lyrics. So type in your question mark right back. I found it. The brown top. Now this song, you can find it on my SoundCloud page. It's not on SoundCloud. It's like the songwriter's version where I'm still working on the song. So it's not completed, and it's on the keyboards. It's reggae, and Sebama didn't like the reggae version. He prefers hand instruments, acoustic instruments. So I recorded it again, so he would like it. But I like both versions. Okay, so this song is called Erdinet. It's teachings of Sage and Imhotep presented by Seba Ma and highlighted by Seba Jao. This is a tiny space from the art here. Again, it was not written for this instrument, so I don't know, but I just have to keep going. I would love to get another one this very soon. Erdinen, Ujatsinen, Erdinen, Ujatsinen, Ahe atenu, ahet atenu, erdine, ujatsene, erdine, ujatsene, all acts against my arm. Actions against my arm. All acts against my arm. Actions against my arm. Carousing, sexting pants, carousing, sexting pants, jet sets, crocodile tears, sections, crocodile tears, the shanty man, the shanty man. The shiny man, the shiny man. Do I set the storm calmer? Do I set crocodile tamer? Do I set the storm calmer? Do I set crocodile tamer? All acts against my eyes. On. All acts against my eyes. On. I had out in you. I had out in you. Erdine, ujatsene, erdine, ujatsene. Because I could have read the translation first. I was so excited. I found it here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I don't have the discourse. I have the translation, but I don't have the explanation. I'll have that next time. Anyway, so Ahet Atenu is, grant me this, bring me this. Well-being, vitality, and health. Erdinek is well-being. But Nek is spiritual strength. Yeah, I guess that's what they mean by well-being. Okay, yeah, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I'll have it next time, hopefully. And then ban is it is a play on words, because ban means acts against ma'at. So I said ban or ban, all acts against ma'at. Oh, sacrifice. Okay. Yeah, so it's not a blood sacrifice, if that's what you mean. But it's an offering. It's considered to be an offering. And I'm looking at, someone on TikTok taught me that it's not about offering, it's about being obedient to the divine. So I don't know what I said that made you ask about sacrifice. But it's about sacrificing your materialism to the divine, offering your materialism or turning away from the worldliness of the world. That type of sacrifice. Your friends want to go out to the club or hang out, but you have to do your devotion, or like you have to clean your house before you can do your devotion. That kind of sacrifice to the divine. It's even a term where you become a slave to the divine, or a slave to the wisdom teachings, or a servant to the divine. So it's more of an offering than us as being enslaved. Like, when you think of slavery, you think of slavery like this. It's a different level. But it's all about to the divine. So sacrifice of your lower nature to your higher nature. There's the royal personality, which is represented by Heru, and then egoism is represented by Set. And you can choose to express your royal personality or Set. You can choose to identify with your royal personality or identify with Set. And do a simple job, because she pointed out to me that I was always identifying with my ego. I was always identifying with my lower self. And everyone else could see my royal personality. They could see my potential as a healer, as a chantress, and I was only focusing on what was wrong. And so, but that's a choice. I was choosing to follow Set rather than choosing to follow Heru, or the royal personality. And so that's sacrificing your lower nature in that way. I hope that made sense. So ban is banning all actions against Ma'at. Ban on Ma'at. And so the next line, Kararu sets tempest. So the only time that you're like weepy or crying or angry or upset or emotional or like freaking out is because you're identifying with Set. Set is upset. That's the tempest of Set. Set's tempest. Set's fury, anger, like a typhoon. That's Set's tempest. Kararu Set. Or crocodile tears. Crying over something that happened in the past, but it led to something much greater. So, but when you like that's, I'm talking to myself, like I'm dwelling on what happened in the past and not focusing on the liberation or the divinity that came as a result of that tragedy in the past. So when you're crying about that, that's crocodile tears, because it's not real. That's your lower self. So that's the Shani Bash crocodile tears. Like, I don't need to give an example on myself. So that's crocodile agitation. But then you have Aset, the storm calmer. Aset calms the storm. She calms the tempest. Or do Aset, the crocodile tamer? She knows how to tame the crocodile. So we choose our intuition rather than our tears. So it's a practice. It takes a lifetime to master, because you have to catch yourself. My friend would say, you got to pluck out those feathers of Set as soon as they appear. And I didn't know what she meant. I was like, what? But now I know. It's a thought. It's a habit. It's a word. Like when we have negative self-talk about ourselves, you catch it and replace it. That's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing those negative thoughts and offering them to. Oh, that's what you're asking about. Amun. You make an offering to Amun. You offer your lower nature to Amun instead of dwelling on it. I hope that's what you meant. Okay. So that will be on the album that I'm going to finish working on. Okay. All right. So now we're going to have a closing song for MAAT, and then we'll have a meditation. I don't even know how to do it one time. Okay. And I sang it last time because it's like the closing chant for Asmachi Temple. Okay. It's gonna work. Yuka Jabuti Matsabima Yuka Jabuti Matsabima Yuka Jabuti Matsabima Nukachahuti, Matsabima, Ranebin Peru, Ranebin Peru, Ranebin Peru, Ranebin Peru. Nukachahuti, Matsabima, Nukachahuti, Matsabima, Nukachahuti, Matsabima, Nukachahuti, Matsabima, Ranebin Peru, Ranebin Peru, Ranebin Peru, Ranebin Peru. Tap. All right, I don't have the exact translation in front of me. Like I said, I took all my music to the other room. But it means something about I'm Jehuti, I manifest well-being and Ma'at every day and good fortune, things like that. I don't have the exact translation. I apologize. But I'm getting all my music together. It's all in one place, which I don't think has ever happened. So, okay, that's good. Okay, so that's coming. Just the image of just the image of a man slaying a man. I can't really hear. I'm going to repeat after the rain. Oh, the image. Oh, okay. The image of the man after slaying of the man slaying a man, slaying your fetters of sex, slaying your negative thoughts. It's capturing your negative thought. Let's say you have a repeated negative self-back talk you have to yourself. You capture that thought and you offer that to Ma'at. It represents your fetters, your insecurities, your doubts, your fears, your bad habits. That's what you're capturing. You're capturing it and offering it to Amun because you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to stop doing what you're doing. I'm thinking of myself. I don't know how to do these things. And I freak out because I don't know how to do these things. So I'm going to offer my ignorance of these things. What things like, business. So instead of me dwelling on it, I'm just going to offer my lack of business sense to Amun. And then Amun is going to change it all around. And then I'm going to develop that sense inside of myself because Amun is inside of myself. You're making offerings to yourself. I hope that helps. And if not, just reach out to me. We'll talk about it some more. I keep saying I'll make a video about it. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I will someday. You tell me what you want me to make a video about, I'll make a video. So we're going to have a few minutes of meditation. It's a guided meditation. It's a Ma'at meditation. And when I was active in the temple, one of my temple sisters and we put this together. Well, I came up with the concept, the structure, and she made the words all flowing and beautiful. So get into a comfortable seated posture. In a lotus posture, or you can lay down. Lay down on the ground. And just focus on the image of Ma'at. I have another one with where I laid all this together as a scale. I think this is the one I have here. Okay, so we're going to transition into the Ma'at meditation segment of our program. I don't need to see it all on this one, but I'm here. And I will eventually make a recording of this as well. You begin by finding a comfortable seated posture for yourself, sitting with your back straight. Breathe deeply and rhythmically in and out of the nostrils. And hold it for 4 seconds and then release. And expand your diaphragm first, then your chest, and then up to the head. Complete breathing. Now look at the image of MAAT. MAAT is your own cosmic principle of truth, balance, harmony, order, righteousness, righteous actions that are offered to the divine, and selfless service that is offered to the divine. Now bring your attention to the scale of MAAT. The scale encompasses the ab, the heart, the unconscious mind that is being weighed against the feather of Ma'at. Now looking at the feather of Ma'at and affirm the following. My heart is as light as the feather of Ma'at. We will now continue by adding a reflective visualization and affirmations of Ma'at for the next 4 breaths. Close your eyes and as you inhale, visualize Ma'at permeating your mind, cleansing every thought that is contained in your mind. As you exhale, affirm, my thoughts are permeated with the Ma'at principles of truth, balance, harmony, order, righteousness, selfless service. Now inhale and visualize Ma'at purifying every feeling and emotion residing in your heart. I visualize the feather of Ma'at gently sweeping and dusting every feeling and emotion residing in your heart. And as you exhale, affirm, my feelings and emotions are purified through devotion to Goddess Ma'at. On the next inhalation, feel Ma'at cleansing your mouth, your speech. And as you exhale, affirm, I am Makari, true of speech. On the next inhalation, feel Ma'at cleansing your actions. And as you exhale, affirm, my actions are Ma'at, are you, righteous deeds. Continue to visualize your heart is filled with Ma'atian principles and is as light as the feather of Ma'at. Now open your eyes, look at the screen, and capture the balance, the image of the balance of Ma'at and the heart being as light as the feather of Ma'at in your mind's eye. The 6th energy center, or Sekhet Bara. Now closing the eyes again. Continue to breathe rhythmically as we transition to our Ma'at Hekaru, Ua, Ma'at chanting meditation. Om Ma'ati Ma'aken. Om Ma'ati Ma'aken. Om Ma'ati Ma'aken. Now to continue to chant mentally, silently, holding the image of your heart being as light as the feather of the heart. Silent meditation for a few moments. And you chant silently in your mind. Om Maat Maat. Om Maat Maat. Now affirm, I am Ma'at, Nuk Ma'at. I am perfection of truth on earth, and now to heaven. I am Ma'at. I was here in the beginning with the boat of my Father's love, in truth, order, and righteousness. I balance the scales, and I set the law as I give order to all matter. In the order of the heartbeat, as I am the order of the motions of the stars and even the atoms. As I raise my arms and spread my wings, I move the legs and spread the air in order, perfect precision, and peace. My life is ordered and peaceful. I am harmony, truth, balance, and peace. Nuk Ma'at, I am Ma'at. The practice of Ma'at, the science of virtue and life, will serve to assist the aspirant to purify the heart and mind, to cultivate peace of mind, and thereby to develop insight into the innermost self. Thus one's heart becomes as light as a feather of the eye. Peace, 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 peace. Okay. Normally we close with the lightest but the song, so I'm going to sing it one more time. Keep your heart as light as a feather. You are my. Keep your heart as light as a feather. You are my. To know the difference between what's real and unreal. You are unreal. To know the difference between what's real and unreal. You are unreal. Light as a feather. You are mine. Real and unreal. You are cool. Make my heart as light as a feather. Nukuma. Make my heart as light as a feather. Nukuma. I know the difference between what's real and unreal. Nuku. I know the difference between what's real and unreal. Nuku. Nukuma. Dua Ma'at, Dua Anku. Dua to each of you for being with me today. And I really enjoyed commenting with you, conversing with you. I wish it was live in person. And maybe someday it will. I will be back on Tuesday for Tamerican Tuesday. We'll be talking about serious galactic cultures of Tamerica and making correspondences to Kemetic wisdom and different topics in Tamerica, developing Tamerica from a galactic perspective, not a legal perspective. I know they say we shouldn't focus on our identity. However, there is an aspect of us that absolutely must focus on our identity in the physical realm because of all the injustice that is being dished out. And, it could be dished out on us because of our RU, and we have to work through the RU at the same time. So that's my commentary. So we're talking about that. Then on Wednesday, we have Wellness Wednesday. We talk about different topics in health and healing and wellness, including astronomy and astrology. So from here on, we'll be gearing up for that January 21st event. So that's probably what we'll be talking about every Wednesday until January 21st. And on Thursday, we have Neterian Devotion on Thursdays, where we talk about just having a Neterian spiritual practice, different aspects, what it looks like for me, what it could look like for you. And we have devotional music. And I had the intention of setting it up with a subscription service, but I realized that's not going to work. So I'm counting on people to be willing to make donations to Asmatisu Temple, Divine Light Healing at Sweet Sounds. I'll put my Cash App here. It's really necessary at this time to find a way to support the temple. So if you could do that, that's amazing. I also have Venmo, and you can also mail a check. All right, so thank you so much for being here with me today. This weekend is the winter solstice, and my daughter and I will be having our soul wind, which we talked about yesterday, a different way of observing the winter solstice. And someone has asked me to produce the book that I'm making about that. So I don't know if it'll be ready by the winter solstice, because that's like tomorrow. But I'm going to be finishing it, my family's version, and so I'll share it with you as soon as possible. And I will hopefully be doing a spiral dance medicine wheel ceremony from the temple space. I don't think I'm going to go out to the lake. I will be doing that, which honors the indigenous teachings of 4 directions. According to the Hopi prophecy, this is the time when the indigenous people of 4 directions will come together and put all the pieces together, and we'll have the truth. And then I add the tagline, we'll be able to defeat Western imperialism by decolonizing and rising up with our Aboriginal indigenous culture and heritage. So I don't know the date or time of that. You'll just have to catch it, but you can always catch the replay. All right, so have a wonderful winter solstice, which is the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 3 longest nights of the year. The origin of the holidays are known as Christmas, and the timing of the holidays known as Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, which is the new moon at the winter solstice. And lots of cultures and traditions have honorings of the winter solstice, but they call it something else, and they're not aware that it's because of the winter solstice. And that's one way that we can come together, is by acknowledging these different observances of the winter solstice. At Asmatisu Temple, though, we only deal with the ones indigenous that predate the invasions by Western imperialism. So there you have it. More comments. This encouraged me to get back in front of my altar since I needed the support again. Dua, gotta find my confessions. Dua, oh, I'm so wonderful that I inspired you and motivated you. These sessions have inspired and motivated me. Like I said, I got all my music together in the music room. I'm gonna come up with the lyrics book. Someone else, Lapis Lazuli, last week he was here. He asked for the lyrics to all the songs. And I'm like, yes, I know. So this is helping me organize my thoughts, because when I was going live a few years ago, I was just doing devotion and wisdom, and I did the astrology chimes and chanting, but I wasn't giving me time to study and write my books and things. So this platform, doing 1 day for each of my 3 passions, is really helping me organize, and it's so much fun when you all are here too. Thank you. Dua Hatep. Thank you very much. Dua Hatep.